Hey Navajo Nighthawks, here we are with Module 3, Lesson 4. This is slightly different than our last 3 lessons. So for this one, our target is I will be able to interpret and represent patterns when multiplying by 10, 100, and 1000. And this is kind of a review of what we did in Module 1 with our place value charts, multiplying and dividing, and using our charts to help visualize that. We're going to start with the charts, and then we're going to kind of step away from that to help us multiply. Okay, so these first couple are just kind of a review. We have that place value chart there. So remember, if I'm multiplying by 10, it gets larger and it's moving to one place value to the left. Okay, so if I'm multiplying by 10, as you can see here on our example, they have 5 multiplied by 10. So 5 times 10, they had 5 ones in the ones place. And then when they multiplied that by 10, all of those moved one spot to the left. So now they had 5 tens, which is equal to 50. So 5 times 10 is 50. Okay, so as we come down here, we have 5 times 100. And they want us to decompose that and show it as 5 times 10 times 10. Because there's 2 zeros, this is kind of my trick I always use, 2 zeros, then that's going to let me know that I need to move that 2 place values on our chart. But we have 5 ones, so I'm going to show that first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and if I multiply that by 10, then that's going to come, whoopsies, it's doing that on me. Let's go back here. It's going to move over to my tens place. So now I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've multiplied by 10, but it wants me to do that 2 times, right? So I just did times 10 here, just like we did up above. And I'm going to do that one more time, okay? Because it wants us times 10, which would be times 100. So these are going to come over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we multiplied by 10 again. Sorry, it's kind of messy, but I'm doing my best here. And that's also going to be times 10. So we just showed that we took our 5 ones times 10 times 10. What did that give us? It gave us 5 hundreds. So when we come back over here, and we can say, well, 5 times 100, that gave us 500. 5 times 10 times 10, that gave us 500. 5 ones times 100 gave us 5 hundreds. If we want to show that in our word form. Okay, so I've always told, kind of that trick. If I'm multiplying by 100, how many zeros are there? 1, 2. So if I come back over here, how many times did we move to the left? 1, 2. So it's kind of a trick that you can use to really double check yourself. Okay, so we're going to do it one more. And then as you can see down here, we're getting away from that place value chart, but we're going to use what we've learned, what we visualized to help us solve these ones. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back here. So I have 5 times 1,000. They broke that apart as 5 times 10 times 10 times 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to show you, instead of doing the times 10 times 10 times 10, what that would look like if we just went right over, okay? So if I have, remember, if I have 3 zeros, that means I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And we can show up here, if we wanted to, that each of these were times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10. So there's my 3 times 10s, okay? My messy 10s, but they are 10s, I promise. And we can say, well, now those 5 ones are now over here in our thousands place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 times 1,000 is 5,000. 5 times 10 times 10 times 10, 5,000. 5 ones times 1,000 is 5 thousands. So can you guys see the pattern? So this first one, they had 5 times 10. Well, that's going to give me 5 tens, which is 50. 5 times 100. Well, that's going to give me 5 hundreds, which is 500. Okay. 5 times 1,000. Well, that gives me 5 thousands, which is 5,000. So you can see the pattern as we multiplied by 10, hundreds, and thousands. It got 10 times larger each time we, excuse me, each time we moved over. Okay. All right. So as we come down here to our, just our equations, okay, I want you guys to think about this, right? So if I have 6 times 10, 6 times 10, you can think of it a few different ways. You can say, well, if I have 6 tens, that's going to give me 60. 6 times 1 is 6. We add that 0 on there, it's going to give us 60. So if I have 6 tens, that means I have 60. 10 times 4. Well, if I have 4 tens, that's going to give me 40. 1,000 times 9. Well, if I have 9 thousands, that's going to be 9,000. You guys seeing the pattern? You say it out loud, you kind of talk it out. It's going to, you're almost going to see the answer as you're reading it. Okay. All right. So now we're going to work backwards. So blank times 6 equals 600. Well, if it's hundreds, what did they multiply that 6 by? If I have 6 of them and I have 600, then that tells me they multiplied by 100. So 100 times 6 is 600. Same here. 4 times blank is 400. We're in the hundreds, so that means we multiplied by 100. Look at that next one. Go ahead and think in your brain. 10 times 9. If I have 9 tens, that's going to give me 90. We're going to work in reverse. Now we have our thousands. Our answer is 6 thousands. Well, blank times 1,000s. What are we going to multiply by to get 6 thousands? We're going to multiply by 6. Good. Blank times 4 equals 4 thousands. For them to get 4 thousands, what do we multiply by? 1,000. Good. Our last one here. 900 is equal to blank times 100. Blank times 100. Well, if I have 900s, that means I multiplied by 9. Good work, you guys. All right, so we're going to do just a couple more together. Multiplying 2 digits by 2 digits. We're still multiplying by tens, okay? But now we have 12 multiplied by 10. So I want you guys to see what would that look like in our place value chart. So they decomposed our 12. So our 12 became 1 10 and 2 ones. So we have 1 10 and 2 ones, okay? If we're multiplying by 10, we know that this is going to, I don't know why it does that, guys. We know that this guy is going to move over 1. So we're going to have 1 here. These 2 are going to move over, which is going to give us 2 here, okay? And we multiplied each of those by 10. So now I have 100. I have 2 tens. Do I have any ones? No, but I'm still going to have to show that in my answer. Okay, so when I come back over here, I'm going to have 100, 2 tens, and 0 in that ones place. So 12 times 10 is going to give us 120. 1 10 and 2 ones times 10, if we were to show that in word form, would be 12 tens. Okay? So when you're multiplying multi-digits, we just decompose it by place value. Okay, we'll do one more. And then we'll come down here and see what it looks like when we break it apart without the place value chart. So I have 18 times 100. Well, 18 would be 110 and 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we're multiplying by 100, or we could visualize that as times 10 times 10, how many places are they going to move? 2. So we're going to move it 2 places. So this guy is going to go 1, 2. And then all of these guys, we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2. Okay. So we went times 10 times 10. I'm not going to draw it out like I did earlier because I feel like you guys are catching on to that. So now I have 1,000. I wanted to type that in there. I could, maybe it'll let me. Go back to my pen. So now I have 1 here. How many hundreds do we have? 8 hundreds. How many tens? None, but I still need to show that. Ones, don't have any there. So now you can really see our number laid out when we use digits to show it. So 18 times 100 gave us 1,800. 18 times 10 times 10, 1,800. And then 10 times 8 ones gave us 1,800s if we want that in that word form. Okay. All right. We're just about done. I know this one's just a little bit longer. All right. So decompose each multiple of 10, 100, or 1,000 before multiplying. So we have 3 times 40. Well, they're taking just the single digits, 3 and 4, and taking 3 times 4 times 10 because we took that 4 away from our tens. Okay. And then they want you to kind of step it across and multiply as you go. So 3 times 4 gave us 12. So now we're going to take 12 times 10. 12 times 10. And then, like we did earlier, well, 12 times 10, if I have 12 tens, that's going to give me 120. 12 times 1 is 12. Add that 0 in there. That gives us 120. Okay. All right. Then we have 3 times 200. Well, 3 times 200, if this decomposing is a little bit too complicated, you could look at that and say, well, if I have 3 200s, that's 2, 4, 6, right? 600. But just to kind of see what's happening when you're doing that, well, 3 times 2 times 100. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 100 makes it a little bit easier for your brain, right? 6 times 100. Well, if I have 6 hundreds, that gives me 600. All right, let's do one in the thousands and then we'll be done. So if I have 4 times 4,000, if I break that apart, that's 4 times 4 times 1,000. Okay, what is 4 times 4? 4 times 4 is 16 times 1,000. If I have 16 thousands, did you hear it when I said that? 16 thousands, well, that's going to give me 16,000. 16 times 1 is 16. We add those 3 zeros back in there. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one for you guys to do on your own. Okay, so if you need to go back and rewatch it and see what we did to break it apart, make sure you pause it on the screen and you can kind of help yourself walk through that. All right, you guys, good job today. I know that was a little bit longer, but it won't be that long all the time. So you guys did great. We'll keep working on this in small groups as well. Ask questions, use paper and pencil to solve, rewatch the video if you need to. All right, you guys, good work today. We'll see you soon.